As to the Industrial Revolution, one cannot dispute today the fact that it has succeeded in inaugurating in a number of countries a level of mass prosperity which was undreamed of in the days preceding the Industrial Revolution. But, on the immediate impact of the Industrial Revolution, there were substantial divergences among writers. A thesis is a claim that you can argue for or against. It should be something that you can present persuasively and clearly in the scope of your paper, so keep in mind the page count. If possible, your thesis should also be somewhat original. Lincoln's apparently radical change of mind about his war power to emancipate slaves was caused by the escalating scope of war, which convinced him that any measure to weaken the Confederacy and strengthen the Union war effort was justifiable as a military necessity. Business school admissions officers said the new drive to attract younger students was in part the result of a realization that they had inadvertently limited their applicant pool by requiring several years' work experience. Talented students who might otherwise have gone to business school instead opted for a law or policy degree because they were intimidated by the expectation of work experience. Australia has one of the world's most important mining industries. It is a major exporter of coal, iron ore, gold and copper, and is self-sufficient in all minerals bar petroleum. Since the first discoveries the coal in 1798, mineral production has risen every year in the decade to 1992 it doubled. When you join one of our colleges, you will see that they are much more than just residences. No matter where you live, you'll find your college will be a base throughout your time with us and a community of friends once you graduated. The current measure has remained virtually unchanged over the past 30 years. Yet during that time, there have been marked changes in the nation's economy and society and in public policies that have affected families' economy well-being, which are not reflected in the measure. While yellow is considered an optimistic color, people lose their tempers more often in yellow rooms, and babies will cry more. It is the most difficult color for the eye to take in, so it can be overpowering if overused. Yellow enhances concentration, hence it is used for legal pads. It also speeds metabolism. The purpose of the informative speech is to provide interesting, useful, and unique information to your audience. By dedicating yourself to the goals of providing information and appealing to your audience, you can take a positive step toward succeeding in your efforts as an informative speaker. Pineapple plants usually require a lot of water to grow and more when they set their fruit. They should then be watered frequently all over their leaves. They should then be treated with more caution because too much water would be detrimental to the ripening of the fruit, which would become watery, transparent, and of inferior taste and smell. Calcium plays an extremely important role in the production of plant tissues and enables plants to grow better. It is responsible for keeping the cell walls of plants together. It is also crucial in activating signals that coordinate certain cellular activities. Calcium also increases the resistance to external attacks and increases the feed value of forage crops to livestock. Blue whales are the largest living mammals. Though reports of maximum length and weight vary from one account to another, Antarctic blue whales are known to have reached lengths to 100 feet and weights of over 150 tons before stocks were severely depleted by whaling operations. North Atlantic blue whales may be expected to reach lengths of 80 to 85 feet. The attempt to gain a perfect understanding of all the material can overwhelm and paralyze you. Flexible thinking is a skill that you will develop with practice, not with extreme studies. Construct and follow a reasonable study plan. Remember that examiners are testing what you can reasonably be expected to know, a finite and manageable amount of work. The fertility of the soil and the climatic conditions of the southern coasts of the Australian continent are very favourable for the introduction of new species. The settlers took advantage of this fact to a great extent and cultivated the most useful fruit trees and vegetables of Europe on a large scale. Fast charging is paramount in making electric vehicles a success. Fast charging makes electric cars more useful because of the reassurance which drivers get knowing that they can quickly recharge. It eliminates range anxiety. It seems that car owners with fast charge capable cars, with enough fast charging stations around them, feel capable of taking longer trips. Before the time of Alexander the Great, the only Eastern people who could be compared with the Greeks in the fields of science and philosophy were from the Indian subcontinent. However, because so little is known about Indian chronology, it is difficult to tell how much of their science was original and how much was the result of Greek influence. While far fewer people these days write a letter and therefore have less use for stamps, there are still a few categories of the stamp which attract collectors. Stamps in common use for an indefinite period until the price goes up are called definitive issues, while a more collectible type of stamp is the commemorative issue, honoring people, events, and anniversaries. The very first thing which comes in the mind of readers is that Jig is in an impossible position and will give in to the American, meaning that she decides to have the abortion. Abortion is safe to end a pregnancy. Medication abortion and aspiration abortion are the two methods of abortion available to women in the first trimester of pregnancy. Jig faces many problems because she is also a foreigner, who does not speak the local language. Tigers are really amazing. They are the biggest cat in the world. They are wild cats with orange fur and dark strips. Fierce and strong cats' number is decreasing day by day. There are around 3,500 tigers in the world and more than half of them are living in only India, Russia, and Bangladesh.